Long before the zombie cataclysm wreaked its havoc on the world, there were living humans all over the Southern California coastline. Now, instead of surgically augmented girls trying to get an even tan, or blonde, bronze surfer boys looking for that perfect wave, you got zoms, aimlessly wandering the sand and surf, searching for a delectable human on which to gorge. And on a 400-foot yacht, once owned by a rich social influencer called Magnus Opioid, two new zoms fished a body out of the water off the side of the boat on which they currently reside, but that they could have never been able to afford to live in their past lives. A new zom is an evolved breed of sentient zombie that after a few weeks of wandering around eating human flesh had what had come to be called an epiphany, wherein, as though waking from a coma, the mindless flesh eater regains himself, or herself as the case may be. All memory, personality, wants, fears, neuroses would come back as if they had never truly left them, as if they had never died. Two new zoms, Curtis Satterley and Gregorio Montes, reside in the Magnus Opioid, that they now call the Mag-Op, docked uncomfortably close to a large pier on what used to be called Newport Beach, but what Kurt and Goyo have rechristened Deadport Beach. Kurt was the assistant manager of the CVS in Orange, and for a hypochondriac always dealing with folks that were at different stages of colds, viruses, and flu bugs was a bit of a challenge. Goyo's big claim to fame was that he was once a minor league relief pitcher for the Sugarland Skeeters in Texas for 2 seasons fresh out of college, but was never called up. Goyo limped back to live in his mom's basement in Garden Grove until the fateful day when his madre tried to eat him. He escaped that time, but within months some huge zom took a bite out of his pitching arm and he ended up a zom a week later. Kurt and Goyo were lucky to have found each other, as sentient zoms comprised only about 3% of all zoms currently walking, crawling, and limping around the planet. Rapidly running out of food, aka live humans, are what Kurt and Goyo have nicknamed pumpers, since their hearts still pump blood. Speaking of which, Goyo snapped to the fact that the body that they had been painstakingly pulling up from the side of the boat was moving. The body in question was that of a very soggy 12-year-old that, since his parents tried to consume him 2 years ago, has simply gone by the name Targ, short for, well, more on that later. Kurt, I think this kid's alive. Alive? Damn. Let's get him down below. Maybe he'll die on the way. Later, the boy began coughing up seawater in the lower stateroom as he turned over on his side. Francis Ford Crapola. And I could have gone for some fresh meat right about now. Do you want we should throw him back in and wait until he drowns? We can't do that. Humans are rare and getting more so. And only we got the mental capacity to not try to totally exterminate our food source. Besides, look at how young he is. If we can get a girl pumper, we can use him as breeding stock. Tenderloin baby. That would be worth waiting 9 months for. 9 months? What are you talking about? Goyo, we still have to find the girl, and who knows if this pumper can even get it up yet. I can get it up, said the waterlogged voice coming from a very pissed-off Targ. Kurt and Goyo looked down to see the gleam of a chrome-plated Glock pointed right at them. Do you really think that thing's going to function too well after having been soaked in salt water? Kurt asked. You want to find out, deadhead? Targ said as he moved the point of the gun back and forth between the duo. Not really, kiddo, Kurt responded. You guys are 2 of those new breed zoms I've heard some about. They think they're human. Oh, we don't think we're human, Goyo said. We just think like humans. But tell me, Kurt began. Call me Targ. Oh, that's an unusual name. I'm Kurt. This is Goyo. Like the refried beans? Yeah, and spelled the same way too, Goyo said, smiling with what was left of his teeth. And how is it a kid your age is still alive years after this mess all started? Kurt queried.